So, greetings to you all, comrades. Once again, welcome to our consensusism or consciousism study group, where we usually study the book called Consciousism. But it's not only the book, it's also the philosophy and ideology for decolonization of Africa. This is a book written by Kwame Nkrumah in the early 60s, and here is where he presents his ideology and philosophy that should be the ideology and philosophy for decolonization of Africa. So thank you very much for those who have made time to be with us today in this virtual conference. And to those who will be watching our recording on YouTube, we do appreciate your time as well. And to all those who will be joining us as well as we move along, we actually look forward to have them with us. Now, we are actually in chapter 3 of the book, Consciousism. And we, in chapter 3, have been looking too much on the society and ideology. In our previous readings, we've spent a lot of time to look at key elements on the instruments of ideology in the society. And part of the things that we've been looking at clearly is actually one, we've learned there are one, history as a subtle instrument of ideology, how history is used to impact an ideology. And two, we have looked at how arts is an instrument of an ideology. And we started looking at now how philosophy is an instrument of ideology from our previous reading. And then this week we continue that, where we, of course, are going to delve into issues like ethics and morality. So once again, we welcome you and thank you for your time. As per our traditions, we actually read the highlighted paragraph. Sometimes we read only one paragraph. But in this context, we'll be reading two paragraphs, which I have actually highlighted with us. Once you're done with the reading, then we actually go around, always ask each member to share what they think in regards to the paragraph. You can share your general thinking, or you can decide to share your thinking statement by statement, or paragraph by paragraph. And also, immediately after a reading, you are also allowed, first of all, to ask for any terms that you feel that should be defined to you that maybe you don't understand. Then from there, now we proceed with our reading. So that's our tradition. And now, welcome to you all. I see most of our comrades with us here. I see Sister Aida, Yanunaki, Sister Tapua, Sister Marcia, Sister Kisomo, Sir Windhoek, Brother Cage. See all of you. Please feel most welcome. And I'm happy to have you with us. Just note that either my internet stability is not that good, especially for my laptop, but I'll be able to share the document as soon as I can. So yes, feel most welcome as we try to fix out this. Greetings to you, Sister Chisomo and Sister Tapua. How are you too?
Great, thank you very much. Great to be in the meeting.
I'm okay, thank you.
Thank you. So let me reshare the text, and then we can start our reading. And we request one member who is willing to do the reading for us. And we always ask you to be a bit slow. Of course, I'll do a rereading of the what text has been read, just to give also the reader sometimes also to actually refreshen up and have time to share the thoughts in the line. So who is willing to read for us these two highlighted paragraphs?
Brother Pigeon, I think it should be a male reader today. See, we've had a lot of females. If any of the men are prepared to read, if not, we'll come back to us. Thank you.
This is Saida has spoken. So any male reader with us who is in a position or able to read for us the paragraph? Any of us here? I see we have Brother Walter, we have Gerald Naki, and so Windhoek dropped. So probably then I'll have to read.
Okay, well, any woman who wants to read. Sorry, we've been reading. That's why I thought we'd try the men. Thank you.
No, I'll read after they read again, so it will be a balance.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I'll also reread it again for the person who's reading to get time also to digest the text. So I'll be able to read again.
Well, let me invite our sisters. I think I read last week, if not the week before. But, you know, if any of the sisters want to read, feel free. Thank you.
I will read.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. As ethics, philosophy proposes to throw light upon the nature of moral principles and moral judgments. It also seeks to expose the source of the validity of ethical principles and so of moral obligation. In ethics, we have an instrument of great fascination, which runs parallel to statutory instruments without itself being statutory. Moral laws were never passed. There are no policemen. Oh, the text is gone. My text is gone.
No, sorry, I think I'm getting again the problem with my network connection. I don't know why.
All right.
I've been experiencing that. So I'm trying to see if I can share this text on the chat so that in case I'm also not on chat. Okay. I don't know how I'll do this. Is there, Sister, do you have the copy of this book with you?
Sorry, I don't know. And even if you put it in the text, I'm not sure I could share it particularly.
All right, tell you what, I did a screenshot of it, yeah? Sis,
Okay.
where did you continue? Where did you stop? Or do you want me to start from beginning?
It's okay to start from the beginning because I can't remember where I was.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you.
As ethics philosophy proposes to throw light upon the nature of moral principles and moral judgment, it also seeks to expose the source of validity of ethical principle and so of moral obligation. In ethics, we have an instrument of great fascination which runs parallel to statutory instruments without itself being statutory. Moral laws were never passed. There were no policemen or courts to ensure adherence to them. Second paragraph. There is a certain fascination about morality, where someone asks why he has to take notice of any state law. The intention of the law can be explained to him. If he is not satisfied, it can be pointed out to him that he supported a certain constitution, or at least that there is a certain constitution is binding upon him, or under the constitution parliament is empowered to enact laws. If this does not satisfy him, then he can be pointed out to him that the law of the land are to be taken note of, or pain of unpleasant consequences. But if someone should ask why it has to be moral, a similar kind of answer cannot be made to him. Indeed, this fact led David Hume to say that reason could not tell him why he should not prefer to the safety of his little finger to the survival of mankind. That's it.
Thank you. Really good. Thank you.
Thanks. Over to you, Chair.
Brother Pigeon? He's, oh no, we just lost. Oh no, he seems to be there. Brother Pigeon? Well, does anybody want to start with what they think of what is being said? Yeah, Brother Pigeon, I see you've unmuted. No? Okay, let's try with Sister Chisoma. Sister Chisoma, what do you think of the passage? Do you have any?
Mine is a question.
Uh-huh.
When it says something about moral, what was it? Moral, whatever, not being passed, not being. Is that not what we use when the chiefs are ruling in the customary law? It's not written, but people know what the morals are and when they are breached and what the damages are and what the punishment is.
Okay, are you doing the moral bit from, but if anyone should ask why he has to be moral, a similar
it
kind
says
of
they are
answer.
not passed and something else to do. They're no
Okay.
policemen, they're no whatever. So I'm thinking, is that not what the chiefs do? Is that what not the customary law does? It's not written, but in the village they know what the law is, what the rules are, and who deals with what, and what the punishment is, the damages are. I don't know, maybe Sister Tapua can help answer that one.
Okay. I'm looking at that the sentence reads, moral laws were never passed. There are no policemen or courts to ensure adherence to them. I think it's slightly, the African context is slightly different because of the last, particularly when we're looking at the last bit, which says courts, there are no courts to ensure adherence to them. Because you sit at the king's court or the chief's court. So we do have moral laws which were never passed. They're agreed by the community, and there's no policeman. You just report your case to the chief, and people discuss it and decide how much of a breach of the moral standards you have enacted, and then give you matching punishment, should I say.
I know that at the last AGM, when there was a discussion about not CSG, but this was GAC UK, when there was a discussion about some question or other, and they were trying to bring the question to an end, Brother Glenroy said, oh, no, the African thing would be that it is discussed until it comes to a natural end, which I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I don't know if that's the case with in chiefs. Ah, okay. Well, there we go then. Maybe in the end, things are discussed until it comes to a natural conclusion where everybody decides that morally that's the right way.
In fact, there's I've just discovered I don't know whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, a Zimbabwean version of it. So something will happen in the community, and then there's a number of people who sit in front to question, to cross-examine, question, look for evidence, question whoever these parties are, and they conclude the matter and they tell them to go home. and live well and get on together and stop doing whatever they were doing. It's actually a real life cases. And I've
Okay.
seen a Nigerian version as well, where people bring these cases and they're discussed, and then people who are assumed in the community to be the elders or the council, and I think we've heard people talk about the chief's council, or I think that's who they are. And then the question, but in the Zimbabwean case, there was one case I did not agree with what they were doing, and I thought, what? So anyway.
Okay. So who asked the question? Was it you, Sister Chizomo, or Sister Tapoa?
I asked Sister Tapua if she knows
Uh-huh.
anything about it,
Mhm,
and she says she does.
Okay. Okay.
I think maybe as a follow-up to that, because this is the last sentence of the first paragraph, we could maybe look at the last sentence in the context of the paragraph, because it starts off by saying as ethics. So it's comparing ethics to philosophy. So it's saying philosophy proposes to throw light upon the nature of moral principles and moral judgments. So it also seeks to expose the source of the validity of ethical principles. In other words, philosophy seeks to justify why we have the moral principles and judgments that we have. And so, if in the African context, we have a slightly different way of doing things because we do not have laws that are written down and agreed, but we're guided by moral principles. What does that say about us and our perspective as people? Because if we say we're guided by Ubuntu, I am because you are, how does that relate with the last bit that we've just read? Moral laws were never passed. So we agree that.
Can I come in?
Yes.
Oh. No, sorry, Sister.
That's fine.
Chisomo.
That's fine.
Now, as I've said, I am really experiencing an in and out in terms of my laptop internet. So my sharing is not stable. And if somebody has a copy of this book and be able to share, or even share the screenshot, I think Sister Masha said, so that it can be stable, so that it doesn't go on and off. But yes, I want to contribute a bit also in this text. And thanks, Sister Ida, for being in for this. I'm trying to struggle with these devices. I've tried to look of what is ethics. And probably I'd like to go back a bit to what we read last so that I can be able to connect it. In the last paragraph, we said that philosophy performs two functions. It functions, and even if you look before that, because I think that's where you should be doing better, we say that philosophy too is one of the subtle instruments of ideology and social cohesion. That was in our previous reading. They said that indeed it affords a theoretical basis for cohesion, like I was in the Republic of Plato, we were confronted with an example in which philosophy is made theoretical basis of a proper social order. In that proposal, philosophy will be an instrument of ideology belonging to a social order proposed by Plato. Now, if I look to the second paragraph, it was saying that philosophy performs that function of social order in two ways. One, as a general theoretical statement to which a specific social political theory is parallel. And two, it lays down certain ideals for our pursuit and for fortification, and it becomes an instrument of unity by laying down those ideals. Now, if I come here now to look at what is now being shared here in regards to philosophy here as an instrument and ethics. So I first of all ask myself, what is ethics? And I realize that there's a thin line between ethics and what do you call it? Ethics and
Morality, maybe.
morality. Yeah, and morality. There's a very thin line in between. Now, if you look at ethics, it tells you that ethics is just what is acceptable. The same with morality. Now, the question here, which is coming, I try to think that the author is pointing to what he call that our laws were not written. And the fact that they were not written like how statutory laws are written, people had to meditate and knew them. For example, you grew up in a society and you're told this is wrong, and that taking someone's wife was wrong, or doing this and this was wrong. Now, where was it written? Where was a meeting held where people came up with that? Was there voting to pass that, okay, taking someone's wife or someone's husband is wrong? Now, that's why I say that moral laws were never passed. They were moral. And I realized that in this, and then comparison between what you call natural law with statutory law. And when we talk of Ubuntu, which of course is Tapo was trying to talk about, it was a natural law. How do you live with nature? And I think most of our law as Africans was more of in terms of natural law. How do you live with nature? How do you live with the people in our society and all our surroundings? And how we live with them do not require a meeting to be held for people to pass that from today forward, this is how we live with the neighbors, this is how we live with the animals, this is how we live with everybody in the society. And therefore, in that order, you could have also not arrived at specific, in some society, you could not arrive at specific punishment for them because there was no meeting that was held. But of course, elders could say, okay, if you sleep or if you take someone's wife, you'll pay 2 cows or 3 whatever cows. But the issue is that there was not too much of policing. It was natural in us. I think it gives an element that we lived by the law. We were born with morality inside us. So that's what I'm trying to see here. And I try to compare 2 elements. What is the statutory law, the current called written law that need a police officer, need a court, adhere to this, and what was our natural law or the moral law that was speaking to our morality as a people. With this particular moment, then it shows to some level that moral laws are better than statutory laws. Because see, even in the statutory law we have today, even when you have police officers and the courts, they still violate, they still offend it, and there's still issues about it. But the question that I'm trying to get in this first paragraph is, where is the philosophy coming here? Because we are looking at philosophy as an instrument of ideology. And some people could say philosophy is the love of knowledge. But if at the start of that paragraph, it says that philosophy proposes to throw light upon nature of moral principle and moral government, or moral judgment. What's the nature of that moral principle? So it also seeks to explore the source of the validity of ethical principles and so I think there's a why we need to get how is philosophy then become a statutory instrument of ideology in its function to let the nature of the moral principle and moral judgment and in how it is being used to validate ethical principles. You see, various and moral obligation of the society. And each society, some of them have their different moral principles, they have their different moral judgments, and they also have different moral obligations. But now we're being told that this is how philosophy is being used silently to pass the ideology of the society, which will be there that the moral ideology of the society or the ethics of the society. That's what I wanted just to come in briefly to share. Back to you, Sister Ida. I know you you come in, you're standing in, but back to you, Sister Ida. I can take it back anytime, but first of all, engage the members and I'll come in the next round.
Okay, could we just ask who Nokia C10 is, please? Please, could you unmute and let
That
us
should
know?
be Elder Sam. That should be Elder Sam, if I'm not wrong. Elder Sam, is that you?
Hello,
C10,
Nokia.
Elder Sam? Elder Sam, is that you? Nokia 310. C10.
It could
It's
be
me.
sister.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
who's that? Hello.
Yes, I have unmuted. I have muted.
What name are you under? Sorry. Can I change your name for you? It's not Elder Sam, is it? It's someone else.
Yeah, it's not Elder Sam. Is that Eric from Uganda? Nokia C10? Hello, Eric?
My
Is that
name?
you?
Yes,
Yes.
your name. Sir, what is your name? Brother,
Hello?
what is your name, please? Okay, not to worry. Next up, maybe you could change your name so we know. That would be good. Okay, going back to the book. Oh, sorry. Let me see who can be next. General Ananaki. Hey, General Ananaki. Please, would you like to unmute and tell us what you've got from this passage, if possible, please? Thank you.
Good day, I'm from Africa. Yes. Hey. Okay. I wanted to be an observer status, but fine. I'll say some few words for I see.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. First, what I want to highlight is that there is no African law that's not written. So yeah, because when we're talking about laws, we have international laws, national, up to local. So in the ancient Sumerian or in the ancient Egyptian cities or the ancient American, whatever ancient black civilization you can mention, you will find out there were a set of laws written by the kings coming from our primordial ancestors. And within those laws, then you had different clans or children of the descendants of our primordial ancestors, the ethnicities, hence the word ethics, ethnicity. So within the different ethnicities, we had a certain code of conduct or a certain behavior that a certain clan had based on their certain DNA strengths or weaknesses. For an example, I'll make an example about the Ndebele kingdom. We know that the Ndebele kingdom was founded by King Mzilikazi, you see, who was one of the generals of King Shaka of the Zulu Empire. So after King Shaka was defeated, he took some of the people in 500 Zulu warriors and he went up to that area called Zimbabwe now. So the Matabele people or the Tebele people that are also in Zimbabwe, also here in South Africa, and I think a few in Zambia, are a warrior class of clans, or a warrior class of a clan because of why? Because of their founder was a general, you see. So the ethnicity they embody is more of a militaristic clan more than it is a agricultural clan. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So their code or their set of morals is dictated by their type of clan, as I'm explaining that they are militaristic clan. So there were a set of laws that were written by our ancient ancestors who first started even civilizations in the world. So there are a set of laws they've written that dictate that if your clan is a militaristic clan, then these are the set of laws you will follow. If your clan is a maternal, maybe is a matriarch clan, then there's a set of laws you must follow. For instance, we know that if a clan is a matrilineal clan, there must be an advisor who is a man to advise the female queen. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. There is this set of laws that were there for different ethnicities. And then there is the main set of laws that it is embodied within us Africans that we know. For instance, there is no clan in Africa that is LGBTQ. You understand? Which means that it's in us that even if we have different set of ethics, but there is a general consensus in our ethics that a man has his roles in Africa and a woman has her roles in Africa. There is no bisexual in that or whatsoever. So that's what I'm saying. There were international laws that were set, written down in stone, paper by our ancient Black Africans. And then there's a set of laws that now dictate the certain behavior according to the clan of the African descendants. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me see who else. Hey, Brother Bernie, I see you're on. Welcome, welcome. Sister Tapa has been. Let's get another sister. I'm afraid, Sister Marcia, you seem to be the next sister, if possible. Would you like to have anything to say
All right.
from what we've read? Thank you.
Right. So I'm looking at it where it says two things. There's two morals. There's the moral principle and there's the moral judgment. So I'm looking at that to say the principle might be what you live by, and the judgment is whatever the consequences of you not living by your principle. That's all I have to say.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. That is, no, that sounds good.
Thanks.
Let me see who else there is. Let's look for a man to say something for us. Oh, Brother Kwame, you're here. Thank goodness. Brother Pigeon keeps his screen keeps going on the wording, so you may have to step in at some point. Okay, a lady, a woman, a woman. Let me see. Oh, I think you've all said something,
I
but
think
will
it's your turn.
Oh, okay. Then let me see what I got from this. Oh, sorry, hold on 1 minute. I think I'd go on to the next paragraph where it says that there's a certain fascination about morality, because it would seem that no matter who you are, everybody has an opinion, and sometimes the opinion gets a bit personal. So that's what I'd say is the fascination, that people want to talk about other people. And if they don't have anything to say about them, they can even make up something about them, just so that they can engage other people. So I think this fascination about morality is something that has always been, and even after us, it will continue. Sorry? Oh, let me see who that is so that I can maybe mute. Oh no, they've muted themselves. Sorry, let me go back then. So that was one of the things that struck me. Oh no, help. Sorry. My phone is taking me all over the place. The other thing is under that constitution, Parliament is empowered to enact laws. Okay, let's maybe have a look at Parliament being empowered to enact laws. I think sometimes the laws that they enact are driven by local circumstances, that trying to please people, and not necessarily looking at all the things that really need work on. So I don't always think that Parliament is, oh, have we lost this? Brother Kwame, you see why I'm saying that the writing keeps going, which means Brother Pigeon might have gone. No, you're still there, Brother Pigeon. So I just have to do it out off the top of my head. Parliament can be a troublesome instrument, I think, because sometimes, I mean, for instance, if you look at what's going on in America, President Trump wants to influence the laws of the land just by making up things as he goes. If you look at what's going on in Britain, some of the laws that are coming about, some of it is also influenced by whoever's in power. They don't necessarily always listen to what people say. So I think I would put that to the bit about Parliament. Oh, hold on, here comes the screen. Maybe it'll help me a bit more. Sorry. Okay, is empowered to enact laws. Okay, and I think it's saying that some of the laws, if it doesn't suit an individual, it can then be pointed out to him that the laws of the land are to be taken note of. I think that that also includes not just laws of parliament, but also laws of the people who enforce the laws of parliament. For instance, say the police, because they're the greatest enforcers of the laws of parliament. Maybe in wartime it would be the army, but in everyday situations it's maybe the police. And sometimes because they have this power, that power can also be abused. I think why he has to be moral, a similar kind of answers given to him. So I don't know that there's much more I can say, because if someone says, why do they have to be moral? Well, they have a choice. They either go by the acts of Parliament or what the people around them thinks is moral, or else they'll find themselves locked up and excluded from everyday things of life. So I think that's as far as I'm going to go. But let me allow somebody else to take over. Let me see who else might have a go. Brother Bernie, have you read what the article's about yet?
I'll come in later.
You're coming
I'll
later.
come in later.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Brother Walter, you've been here from the beginning. Have you got an opinion on anything the article? Oh, someone's got their hand up. Let me see. Sister Tapoa. Okay, let me just ask Brother Walter, I'll go to Sister Tapoa, but then I'll ask you next to what you think of the article. Is that all right? Okay. Sister Tapoa, I see you got your hand up.
Yes, thank you very much. The second paragraph for me points out the differences between morality and the law, because in this paragraph we learn that, I mean, there's a distance that's created between an individual and the law, because the sorry, my phone is playing up. I'll go back to the text. Because when the second sentence reads, when someone asks why he has to take notice of any state law, in other words, laws can be passed and individuals might be unaware of the laws. They might not even understand why the laws are there. So there's that possibility to ask questions. But with morality and ethics, people are expected to be moral. You're expected to be ethical because it's supposed to be a humane thing to understand. You're supposed to be humane in how you conduct yourself, and it has nothing to do with the laws. Morality and ethics is part of being human,
which is why I was emphasizing the fact that Ubuntu inclines more to morality and ethics, guiding us in the way that we do things, and even in the laws that make sense or don't make sense. And that's where I'm coming from. The difference is between the law, which can be distant and removed from the individual, and then morality, which we are expected to all have almost instinctively. I'd also like to make a comment about, I think there was a comment made by General Anunnaki about LGDP, whatever it is.
LGBT.
Yes, that one. I've noticed that in the African context that I'm familiar with, what we say is acceptable is the standard that is expected. But there've been activities of LGBT, and people have to be brought into line all the time. In other words, the African context does not tolerate that kind of behavior. We clamp down on it. I've also noticed something that's been lately happening around Zimbabwe. You know how push on social media, you have people engaging sexually with animals, especially young boys, and it's unacceptable. It's immoral, but it happens. But we don't accept. We don't even want to hear about it. So the same thing with LGBT. It happens, but we don't want it. And we all agreed that we're not going to go in that direction. But the question is what to do with people who engage in it. Other societies like the West, they've simply brought it up into the open and said, oh, we're going to accept it. But we're saying, no, we won't. I think that's where I want to come in on that issue. Anyway, morality and the law. It still remains a moral issue for us, LGBT. But
for bi.
Yes.
Sorry, can I clarify something? Let's be mindful that our recordings, our discussions are recorded and widely shared on the YouTube. That which may not be lawful to you may be lawful to someone else. So I think in England, where some of us live, it is not against the law, and it is not immoral to be LGBT. And for some of us who are teachers, we are required by law to support our students, whatever their sexuality. So I just want to remind us all that we are speaking in an international context. And so just let's be mindful how we express ourselves so that we don't come across as being intolerant of other people's choices. In England, there is a law called the Equalities Act, which has something called protected characteristics. And so when we have discussions like this, and it is on the internet, depending on how the conversation goes, some of us can be accused of being part of a homophobic discussion. I'm not saying that anybody has, from what I've heard so far. I'm just saying that let us be mindful how we phrase what it is we are saying, because our recordings are widely shared. Thank you.
Yes, and I think that we should also be mindful that all throughout history, there has been whether it's underground or whether it's hidden or even in plain sight, there's been a lot of LGBT activity in a way, maybe not openly talked about, but it's been there all throughout history. So let me see who else would like to, who would be next. So it was meant to be Brother Walter. Are you ready to share what you see as oh, I see Sir Winlock has his hand up, but let me ask Brother Walter. Brother Walter, would you be oh good, you've got unmuted, so I'll let you come in and then I'll go to Sir Winlock. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I have preferred to be following the discussion, but just like everyone is saying, each and every community will always have something in common, and what they believe is morally right for them, and what they also believe is not morally correct. But to this about this context, I see most of the statutory laws that has come to be in a constitution of a community or of any country or a state, it is always derived from those moral principles. And you'll find it is actually believed what everyone has said it is good in a community will always be judged against what you have done, which is morally not good in a community. And so I believe morality guides humanity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let me see if there's actually, sorry, Brother Winlock, you had your hands up. Please feel free to have a say what you think.
Greetings.
Greetings.
I hope my background is not too noisy. Can everybody hear me clear?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Because I'm traveling. Brother Kwame, I think CSG has got a disclaimer that whatever opinions expressed are not necessarily the opinion of CSG. Having said that, whatever we do, whatever we are saying, we will face criticism, and we should just grow thick skins. Let us also not, in the process of being afraid of being criticized, also not stifle the opinions and feelings and experiences of others. Having said that, we come from different parts of the world, just like Brother Kwame has given an example of England and the laws of England there. Equally, we come from different parts of the world where things are practiced differently and where things are seen differently as well. And that should be respected as well in our expressions. What I wanted to say, in fact, that was just in passing, what I wanted to say or ask is there a thick or a deep line drawn in the sand between morals and ethics? Thank you.
So were you asking that to anyone in particular or to the whole group? Is there a difference?
To the whole group, anyone who can help me.
Okay, is there a difference between, is there a sync line that has been passed between morals and ethics? Was that the question? Sorry.
Sorry, can I just under that quickly? Ethics is a study of if like, of morality. Morality are the rules of conduct. That's how simply to put it. So morality are the rules of conduct. Ethics is a study of morality. You can put it that simply. And there are, what I will have said, there are different standards of morality. Your morality will not be my morality. Now, when the rules of conduct, let's be mindful that what you think or what somebody else thinks is the rules, is a rule of conduct for his or her community, may not be the rules of conduct for another community. You see, but we tend to use morality as if it means something that is good. But something that is good to you may not be something that is good to somebody else. And so, in that sense, morality or the rules of conduct.
Brother Kwame, have we lost you? You're still here, I see. But we can't hear you. Brother Kwame? Oh, maybe he's on the train, so we'll come back to him in a minute. Let's go to Brother Bernie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, much of what I was about to say has been explained by Brother Kwame, but I would still want to say that there was a time I was asked to, not me, it was a class. We were in the theological class, and we were asked to do a research, a study on account concept by interviewing not less than 20 people. So and these are not supposed to be people in the city. So I went to a far village, rural area, whereby you find that they are not used much to Christian doctrines and Islamic doctrines. They were typically traditional. And it changed me a lot, because after interviewing 20 people, what I realized is that Akan people don't have anything called sin in that theological definition that we give. So I after delving into the answers that came, what I found is that people live by their conscience, and that what is wrong is what is the taboo to the God. But there's nothing like this is wrong. So if you look at such kind of society, and recently it was somewhere that I was reading for, also I was writing a paper, so I was looking for some references, and I came to a similar thing whereby before colonization, we didn't have law in our society. What we know is that either they will tell that this river, this day we don't go there, this forest we don't go there this day, and people consciously are aware that if I kill you, it is wrong. And for that matter, you know that it will be the last resort. I mean, you don't even use it. And unless it is a situation of war. But even wars have principles also that guided wars, whereby men are killed, women and children are not killed in war. Unlike today, that we see all these bad things happening, before wars were not actually waged that way. Why? Because of the kind of ethics which guided the society in those periods. Yeah, coming down to the paragraph that we are studying now. One of the interests I look at David Hume. In fact, Hume is one of the philosophers whose writings also underscore the kind of racism that we are having now. Humes and Lafito. I think Humes learned something from Lafito to arrive at what we later call the chain of great beings, which is a scale of levels of human beings, starting with the English, who are the whites, different shades of whites, coming back to Africans who are dark, and therefore we are at the bottom, and after before monkeys. You see him. So when I look at this reference to him, well, he wrote a lot of things, but I mean, Europeans have done a lot of bad things based on some of these philosophers' ideas that they propounded. So it comes to support what Brother Kwabi said, which is a general knowledge that one man's meat is another man's poison. What we feel is right may not be the same in different contexts. For instance, in East Africa, I hope Brother Pigeon is here to compare. I think there are about 2 ethnic groups that practice have a practice that if they get the visitor and they want to entertain you, the man will let you sleep with one of his multiple wives. Mostly the most beautiful among them, they will use that person to entertain the guest. Which in certain contexts, it will result in that person, in somebody being killed, that he slept with somebody's wife. So we find that across different regions and communities, when it comes to what is wrong and right, we have to be very careful. And at the same time also, I look at the context of Nkrumah writing something like this. Of course, being a politician, maybe he could have written straight to say that, look, living by conscience is better than having a moral code, which normally we see that they can be ineffective in a lot of ways. Because the moment you put a law, in fact, people are bound to break the laws more than when you don't have the law written. You see, but I believe that if you come to the second paragraph of the shaded area, his advocacy in terms of the Constitution and the law that Constitution spells, also, and the way that if a person wants to say that, why should I obey this law? Of course, they said if you kill somebody, you are to be killed. Formally, that way, I mean, whereby the law for a murder, a murderess, that you should be executed. Now, I look at it. What came to my mind is that, well, the statesman has to defend, because he has to go and work with the Constitution. He can't do without it. And for that matter, there is the need also for him to explain why there is the need for that document to guide us. In as much as if we come to ethics, ethics is based on what naturally I know as, is it right for me to do this or not? And that is why it happens that in different communities, the answer will vary. And for that matter, it is very, very expedient that is when we are judging, or we are talking about other people's culture, we have to be careful in the sense that maybe ours also, what we believe in and practice, may be something that is bad to them. And look at China. They are eating all kinds of animals that is horrible. But then they also look at probably certain things we also do and feel like, hey, are these who are these people? Look at what they are doing. So we in this period of time, we have seen a world being forced to follow one particular way. Some people's morality or ethics, which has put us all under pressure, and there are a series of rebellions from here to here, and then the need to convert other people. Why? Because you want to make them to obey what you feel that it is right. And for that matter, I mean, we have seen how a lot of communities have been, I mean, let me use the word, have been violent, because the moment you convert people to follow your way, it's a form of violence. Even though people don't talk about it that way, but to force people to say that, come to my way because that is what I think is right for you, it's violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Bernie. And I have to say thank you for telling us about, you said that, I don't know whether there were tribes or there were certain people that had
Yeah, it's around Kumasi area. Yeah,
the East Africa,
it was
yes.
around Kumasi.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but I thank you
No,
for it, because when
it's Ghana, Ghana Kumasi.
oh, what, that they have more than one wife that they lend out to.
Oh, okay. The one was, yeah, it's
Yeah,
East Africa.
the East African bit, and I was going to
Yeah,
thank
even
you for that,
yesterday.
because
Yesterday,
Brother
I
Pridgen
had
made
another one.
uh, uh, okay, well, Brother Pidgeon made a comment earlier, which I had to bite my tongue on, because he was saying about, oh, if somebody slept with some other man's wife, maybe it would cost him 2 cows. And I thought, what? But I bit my tongue and kept quiet. So you coming up with this other bit, I thought, oh, interesting, maybe. Okay, so I see that Brother Eric wrote something in the chat. I'm not sure if you were trying to put up your hand in the chat and wanted to say something. So, Brother Eric, let me give you a chance to come in and say something if you want, and then we'll move on to Sir Winlock and then Sister Tapua. Brother Eric, were you trying to put your hand up? Please unmute and tell us if you were. No? Okay, then in that case, let me go to Sir Winlock. You have your hand up, so maybe you'd like to mute and tell us why. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much once more. But I'm still trying to understand morality better. If I have to say, from the part of the world where I come from, a traditional African family is founded on a man and a woman for reproduction, or if you like, it's founded on a man and multiple women for reproduction. Is that part of morality?
So Winlock, I see that I see that you want to challenge us on what you consider to be traditional ways of life. Well, let me put it that way, because I'm not sure whether it is or it isn't, but I'll put it that way. Let me move on. I'm sure somebody will come back to answer you with that one. But let me move on and ask Sister Tapua.
Okay, you want to go to Tapua.
And
Okay.
after,
Because her hand was up. But if you want to answer that particular one, Brother Bernie, please feel free. I'll take your hand down.
and sister Chair, and after the question, after the answer, please allow me to also add my opinion on the basis of the question, of the answer that would come
Oh,
up.
so Winlock, are you out to just challenge things to do with morality and people's lifestyle tonight? But anyway, we'll listen to what Brother Bernie has to say first. Thank you.
Am I not allowed to do?
Normally, morality is the situation of having a kind of higher authority requiring that something is right or wrong. And then ethics, the distinction between ethics and morality is that, as Kwame explained, is whereby reason is used to say that if I hit you, it's right. So if you come down, you find that Nkrumah is saying that, I mean, he quoted him that if a finger, the safety of this little finger to the survival of mankind. Here I look at it like a soldier who holds the gun, and his safety by pressing the trigger is more important than maybe about 10 people that will die that moment. You see, what we have practices. Practices are not may not have anything ethical or moral, but then society, we call them norms. You see, it's something that, irrespective of what somebody sees from outside, it is accepted practice within a particular society or a given environment. So it's from outside. What you are saying, I cannot say that. I may say that it is wrong, but then the people have their own reason for practicing a particular behavior, which is normalized. And that is how many societies have lived. Why we eat animals, some people eat meat, some people say we don't eat meat, and all those things. There's nothing ethically wrong or morally wrong about some of these things. But then they have been things that have been practiced over time and have been normalized. Yeah, that is how I can explain what actually you maybe it's a bit confusing you that why people do this. Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Bernie. So Winlock, I see you. I see you're ready to come
Sister,
in, but
sorry,
I will allow
Sister
you. Let me
Ida,
just.
Sister
Yes,
Ida,
yes,
has
yes.
everyone spoken?
Not yet. If you
Can
just hold on
can
half a.
yeah, can those who haven't spoken be allowed to speak fast? Because
Well, there are
so that
two hands up, and I
yeah,
see
we
we
don't
still got a bit of
yeah, but
time.
we don't take hands up. Let's hear the thinking of everyone, and then let others come back. But we can't have the same person
Okay,
speaking again and again and again
okay.
when
I was
others
aware of that,
when
but
others haven't spoken yet. Thank you.
okay,
You remember
okay. Let
this
me. There's
caused some displeasure some time ago. Some people were saying
okay,
they hadn't spoken.
okay.
So, yeah, thank you.
Yes. Okay, so Brother Joseph, do you feel you've been here long enough to make a comment on the reading, or would you like more time? And Brother Eric, I'm going to come to you after Brother Joseph. Thank you. Brother Joseph, please unmute. Brother Joseph? Okay, Brother Eric, are you ready to make a comment on the reading of today? Please.
Hello, good evening.
Oh, good evening.
How is
Good evening,
everyone?
Brother Eric. Oh, we're well,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Have you
Yeah,
managed to read, seen the reading?
yeah,
Good.
yeah. I have seen. Though I came in late, I was struggling to reach home and settle home, and I was first listening to how the rest of the members are trying to respond. My brother from Namibia. It is really interesting. We have cultures, we have customs that have their different practices. I think it gets to the matter of conscience where the practices are really a bit. How can I best put it even? But I think we need to now be a little bit conscious dealing with our different societies in Africa. Because I know of a friend from South Sudan that for them, the Dinka, I don't want to I don't know whether it's really the thing that happens, but this friend in particular, the Dinka tribe, they told me that if, for instance, I'm a married man and I have gone to a long journey. The time I return, they have a culture that woman of mine at home has to welcome me in a family way. So, of which it is very right according to that society. But of course, I know Sister Ida may be having another version of it. But I think it gets to the matter of the conscience coming in. Just like the rest of the members have been trying to say, certain things may be right in some communities, and in the other communities, they may not be very right. I think that is the contribution I can make, as little as that. I've come in late. I would love to first listen a bit. Maybe I will give a parting shot at the end of the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your contribution.
Welcome.
I think there are a few other brothers who haven't spoken. Oh, Brother Pigeon, have you just dropped off? I was just about to call you. And he's dropped off. Brother Coco, I think you're the only other, and also Brother Kwame. So I'll go to Brother Coco first. And have you, Brother Coco, have you managed to read the passage? Would you like to comment on it, please? Thank you. Brother Coco, can you hear me? Okay, let me go to Brother Kwame. And then I'll try Brother Coco again. Maybe he's out of reach at the moment. Brother Kwame, have you got anything that you'd like to say on the passage?
Yes, I have a lot to say.
Oh, wonderful. We're all listening eagerly. Thank you.
It would take 2 hours to say it.
No, just a quick. Thank you.
Yeah, so so I was on my laptop when it went off earlier. So I was on my phone when it went off earlier. I'm now on my laptop. So I was answering Brother Windhoek's question about what the difference between morality and ethics, and I noticed that Brother Saraspala, General Nunaki, has put a what you might describe as an explanation or definition in the chat, and which kind of echoes what I was saying, that morality are rules of conduct, to put it simply, and ethics is, if you like, the study of morality. So I haven't heard what everyone has said, so it's hard for me to refer to what someone else has said. And if I repeat what you've said, then it means that we share the same thinking. I've heard a lot about opinions in this meeting. May I remind us all that we don't share opinions in CSG. In CSG, we share our thinking. There's a difference between what you are thinking about a reading that we've all read and your opinion, which is what you opine. And in the same way as, for instance, we can read that 1 and 1 is 2, and you can share your thinking on how 1 and 1 is 2 in a particular context, whether it's a context of milking cows, or the context of the family, or the context of politics, or the context of government, or the context of water, whatever it is. You can share your thinking where 1 + 1 is 2. And that is different from sharing your opinion, because your opinion may be that 1 + 1 is 5, in which case we cannot agree with your opinion. And because opinions differ, as can thinking, we do not share our opinions. We share our thinking. That's why when we've read, we ask, can you share your thinking, please? Because if you're sharing your thinking, we can challenge your thinking. It's hard to challenge your opinion sometimes, and opinions can be so emotional with some people that when you challenge it, they get upset, and they not even attend meetings for a few weeks, because they are opinions which were not factual, was challenged. So we try and move away from opinions to facts and and rules that we can all access and thinking. And that's why we say think. It doesn't mean that we all think the same way about something we have read. We cannot have different thinking about something we've read. But having different thinking is not the same as having different opinions. There is a subtle difference. Now, having said that, and for whoever is chairing needs to guide the discussion in that direction, because I've heard a lot about opinions today. And frankly, CSG is not interested in your opinion. It's interested in your thinking, because thinking is the key to the liberation, the unification, and the development of Africa. It is a fact that we are not thinking. And even when it comes to thinking, you can think incorrectly and you can think correctly. So, for instance, if you think that 1 and 1 is 5, you are still thinking, but you are thinking incorrectly. You see, whereas if you think 1 plus -1 is 0, you are thinking, but in this case, you are thinking correctly. So, even with thinking, one can think correctly and incorrectly. Now, coming back to what we've all read, and I wasn't here when you read it, but as you know, I'm familiar with the text already. These 2 paragraphs are cited within the chapter. I believe ideology and society. Is that correct? It's ideology and society, and we know that our ideology, is rooted in our philosophy, and the philosophy of which there can only be 2. And brother, let me just say, brother. So let me get his brother. Is it Joseph? I'm not sure if it's brother Joseph. Our brother Eric. I know last week I couldn't respond to your presentation. You were talking about intersection between idealism and materialism, or intersection between spirit and matter. There is no such thing as an intersection. Materialism stands on its own. Yeah, it's our position that thoughts and spirits are all categories of matter. And when we say matter, we are not referring to things you can only touch and see and hold and feel. Matter also includes things that we cannot see with human eyes, things that are so small you need a microscope to see them, or things that are so far away you need a macroscope or a telescope to see them, and so on and so forth. And there are 4 basic categories of matter. They are liquid, gas, solid, and what we call fire, like the sun. So there is no intersection. There is just matter, and all of us here are human beings, and we are in this world because we exist in this world. Although we have a spiritual dimension, we live in this world where we have physical bodies, and it's the physical bodies we have that enables us to live in this physical world. So all this talk about we are spiritual beings must always recognize that we are spiritual beings, but our spirituality is rooted in our physicality, and our physicality is rooted in the concrete environment in which we live, and all of us live in different concrete environments. So the 2 paragraphs we are reading are drawing our attention, and there's been a lot of discussion, and sometimes there is the temptation to see these discussions as some kind of personal discussions or community discussions, or for example, discussions around what I am an Ewe from Ghana, so it can be about what the Ewes think about this or that in terms of morality. And even among the Ewes, there are different subgroups, all the way from Eastern Ghana to Western Nigeria. All along the coast, there are different kinds of Ewes. And when you go amongst them, you find variations of moral laws. So there is a temptation to look in that direction, and then to even go further and try to think that this is about what you as an individual would do or would not do, and so on. So you notice that the paragraph has brought us to Parliament. And when we say Parliament, for us Africans, we can mean, for example, the public square, where the chief meets the community and there's a discussion. And in that discussion, anybody can speak, including children. Even children are allowed to speak in the public square when the chief sits down. Nobody's too young, nobody's too old to speak. And when we say parliament here, we're not talking about the generality of the people making decisions that touches their lives. So what am I saying? I'm saying that what Nkrumah is drawing our attention to here is that we must begin to think about the African nation and the constitution that will guide the African nation. As we speak, there is no African nation. What we have are nationalities trapped in colonial borders, drawn up in 1884, I believe, in Berlin, in Germany. Those are the borders that our nations are trapped in. And you have different nations trapped in these. Some of them don't even get on. They are enemies. Some of them have turned the nation state into their fiefdom, as if they own it, as if only they must run the post-colonial state machinery, and so on and so forth. So what Nkrumah is drawing our attention to, and what we are telling our people when they come to this meeting, this CSG meeting, is that begin to think about what the strategic goal of Pan-Africanism, and by that I mean radical Pan-Africanism, not liberal Pan-Africanism that just wants to replace the white man and have all the power. We are not interested in that kind of Pan-Africanism, and we're not interested in conservative Pan-Africanism. That is a Pan-Africanism that says that only the president must have all the power, and only his family must have all the means of life. Everybody else can go to hell. Those kind of Pan-Africanisms are not what we are interested in. We are interested in what the last paragraph of the introduction of this book says, which is that we are progressive Pan-Africanists, which means that for us, the welfare of the people is the supreme law. So when we are looking at these paragraphs, what we should be thinking about is what kind of constitution should Africa have? Because as we speak, we are yet to call a constitutional conference for the nationalities of Africa to come and discuss the constitution that we want, so we can set aside these new colonial constitutions that only seem to favor some people. We are yet to call such a conference, although we've discussed it in the past. And we should begin to think about what moral laws, we use the word Ubuntu a lot in our meetings. Constantism is not against Ubuntuism. Some say there's no such thing as Ubuntuism. But I hope you don't mind me using it that way. Or the study of Ubuntu as Ubuntuism. We use that a lot. But Ubuntu is not the word, it's not a word that is familiar to all the nationalities of Africa. So we need to be mindful. And if Ubuntu is what we are using to describe a certain moral principle, then it will be good for us to find its equivalent in other languages. And in the past, we've said, let's look at Swahili and what Swahili says. And Brother Pidgin was saying that, well, and I think Brother Winhock was also saying that the word doesn't translate very easily into Swahili. Be that as it may, we have to look for equivalents of Ubuntu, because Ubuntu is a particular Bantu language, and not everyone speaks that language. So you may be saying Ubuntu, 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 and somebody else is not listening to you, is not hearing you, doesn't understand what you are saying, because that is not their language. So until we come up with one African language that we can all speak, which I think is going to be very challenging in its own right, we need to find the equivalent of that morality called Ubuntu and spell it out in other languages, so others can understand what we are saying. So let me end by saying, Sister Ida, let me end by saying this, that we need to draw out in what we are reading the implications for the African continent, because the Africans, as Africans, we don't yet have a nation. We don't. All we have are post-colonial, neo-colonial territories that doesn't belong to us. They are so controlled by the former imperialists through their neo-colonial agents. The whole of Africa is like a farm, and the presidents are the farm. There are different farms there are different plantations in the farm, and there are gate men and gate women, if you like, standing by the doors of the farm. That is all we have. The nation as it is not ours. You understand? Our resources are stolen. And I mean, you all know this. So we need an African nation. And we can only get an African nation if the nationalities of Africa decide that that is what they want. So far, they haven't decided yet. And so I am encouraging us to because we are reading conscientism, which is the philosophy and ideology of decolonization. That is the full title of the book, with particular reference to the African Revolution. That is what we are reading. Now, what is the African Revolution? The African Revolution is the unification, the total liberation, the unification, and the development of Africa. That is the African Revolution. And it's ongoing. It has not been achieved yet. We haven't united yet, let alone begin to develop Africa. There is no highway from Cape Town to Libya. I'm talking about highway, a motorway, or a motorway. There's no motorway from West Africa to Egypt. They don't exist yet. They will come. They will come, but they haven't come yet. In other words, Africa is not yet developing the way we want. Besides, I think I'll stop there.
Thank you, Brother Kwame. I think that you challenged all of us, not just me as a chair, but all of us, that we need to think of sharing our thinking, not our
opinions.
Oh, the word
not
opinions.
our opinions.
Yes.
Because
So I realized that
if you have a million people, if you have a million people, you can have a million opinions.
Everybody will have an opinion, yes.
But if we are saying that 1 + 1 is 2, it doesn't matter whether you are the Japanese, whether you are a Ugandan, whether you're a Ghanaian like me, we all agree that if you think clearly, 1 + 1 can only be 2. So you share your thinking, and the thinking you share must be thinking that we all can access.
Yes, and
Because
what is on the page?
Yeah, because we are talking about a united Africa, which we all here will be participants of. And
okay.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Brother Pigeon, I think you're next on the list to speak. If you're still there, I see we lost our writing, but are you about, Brother Pigeon? Would you like to mute, or are we about to lose you? No, Brother Pigeon. Then the only other person is Brother Coco, who hasn't spoken. And then I know that Sister Topoa has raised her hand for long enough and says she's not quite following. But Brother Coco, are you ready yet? If not, I go to Sister Topoa to share your thinking rather than opinion. Thank you.
I'll pass.
You'll pass. Okay.
Because I think the amount of information that we've just got and the numerous threads of thought that we've just got has just sent me thinking. Thank you.
Oh, and it's thinking we want to share. So, okay, when you're ready, come back, please. Let me see. Who else is there? Is there anybody else who would like to share? I know we've lost the page, but who would like to share something on what the reading was for today? Hi, Pakon. Welcome. So maybe you could tell us who you are?
Yeah,
Your name?
it's Decken.
Oh, Brother Decking, I'm sorry. I know I'd seen the logo before, but I couldn't remember the name. Thank you. As you've just come, I'm not sure that you've read the page because the page has also disappeared. but you might have seen it earlier.
I
think
didn't
Brother
actually see it at all.
Oh, okay. Brother Pigeon shared
Yes.
it earlier this morning, so I wasn't sure. Okay, is there anybody else who has anything they'd like to say? Sister Chisomo, you're not here. You've gone. So many people seem to be dropping in and out today. So, Brother Eric, have you got anything else you'd like to? You said you might come back later. If you haven't even, oh no, Sir Winlock, I see that you're still here, so I'll give you a chance, but please, could you share your thinking on what we read today? Let me give you that chance, seeing we didn't get back to you. Thank you.
I'll rather let it pass before I challenge.
Okay.
Just like you said, I'm ready to challenge. I was not going to challenge. I was
We
going
want
to
some
share.
radical thinking of moving forward.
No,
So
it's fine.
okay,
Let it pass.
I'll leave
let
you
it
for
pass.
now if you're not ready.
Let it pass. It's ready, but
Okay, thank you,
I've said it.
thank you.
ready. Let it pass.
Okay, thank you. Sister Marcia, you gave us the first two lines of
Well,
what we read.
Right, but what I'm saying is that's what I look at my thinking in regards to moral principle as well as moral justice. Is what I'm saying. You have the moral principle that I think that your everyday living. When you do not go by that, then you have the moral judgment that will deal with you. You don't need no policeman. You don't need any of that because you know what that judgment is going to be. And I stick by that to say that is what I'm thinking.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Brother Ankrum, you wrote something nice in the chat. That gave everybody Brother Kwame was right that it was interesting what you'd written in the chat. Would you like to come back and say anything at all?
Give thanks from Africa.
Thank you.
No, the only thing I'll say though is just that the laws that we have as Africans, whether they vary in how we marry and stuff, were all written down by our ancient ancestors. That's what I want to say. We must not say we just thought of these things out of the blue and acted them. No, they were written down. Even our African languages we speak, they were written down. So the moral codes we are using to govern our people as a nation or as a clan, these things are from that ancient time of ancient Nubian or Egypt, whatever you want to call it. Those are the things they practiced. And then as time went by, the split, we remembered, some of them, we remember those laws. But there's one common thing that I want to emphasize is that the African people have their own set of morals, as one of the elders said here in the group. The African people have their own set of morals, and Asians and others have their own set of morals. They are not the same. That's why as I said, that it's only in African culture where the other cultures like these bisexuals are not accepted within the societies. I'm not talking about the cities that are owned by the white men, the 54 so-called countries. I'm talking about the African societies. That's what my emphasis wants to be on, because sometimes even other discussions we have is that we find out that the set of values, missions, objectives, you can see most of these things, are ethics that are based on the white man or the government. It's not ethics and morals that are based on the African kings and queens that are being sidelined by the government, you see, which is one of the war that we are having now of this medical marijuana. The government wants to commercialize marijuana, but is saying that that one that is indigenous to the Africans is still illegal. And now the indigenous people are locked now. They can't make money out of their own indigenous
marijuana. Now they must get seeds from the white man in UK and Canada. So that's what I'm saying, that is the things that we must check when we talk about morals, that where are these morals coming from? Are they coming from Africa or are they coming from Europe? If they're coming from Africa, then we know, oh, it's that family structure with the men, the women, the children. If it's coming from Europe, yo, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have 15 minutes left before we close for today. Let me invite anybody who would like to say something to please unmute and come back. I see that Sister Topoa said there are too many threads going on today, but I'm sure that along the way, okay, let me give Brother Coco a last. Oh, Brother Coco, you're on mute. Let me give you a chance to say something. Thank you.
Greetings, Queens and Kings. I'm honored to be here. I missed last week, I think. And I think the minute you miss 1 week, you have to go back and sort of try to see what the paragraph was about and try to connect with what is happening with today's reading. And I think we have had a similar reading in the past where we talked about morality. This is not the first time we have had discussions on morality. Even Brother Kwame made an example of, I think, how different societies treat their dead, with the Indians being challenged, I think, about what they would give in order to bury their dead, and others say what they will give in order not to burn their dead, or something like that. It was an interesting statement or interesting distinction, which helped. Yes, brother.
Yeah, I'm happy to remind you what that was about. Thanks for
go ahead. Go ahead. That will help, because I think we are still going around in cycles, and he's still continuing to express the same thing.
The Persian King Darius called the Greeks and the Indians, because they were under Persian rule at the time, and asked the Indians, because the Indians, as you know, cremate their dead, they burn their dead, and the Greeks, they bury their dead in the ground like we Africans do. So King Darius asked the Indians, what will it take for them to, yes, it's Amasia, it's okay. What will it take for them to bury their dead like the Greeks? And they said there's nothing that will make them change that cultural practice. And then King Darius also then asked the Greeks what they will do in order for them to cremate their dead. And they said there's nothing that will make them change their mind. The idea of burning their dead is itself anathema to them. And the idea of cremating their dead was also anathema to the other group. So that's the one you're referring to. Thanks.
Absolutely. So here then we talk about morality being the distinction between what is right and wrong from the perspective of a society in which that morality applies. So again, when we talk about ethics, ethics are the principles behind the morality. And I think what he is trying to say here is that the morality rules are not passed, are not enacted in a parliament or in a legislature, unlike the common law or the laws which are coming from the constitution. But every society has its own morality. It has its own moral laws and principles that guides it. And it's where I think Brother Kwame also referred to Ubuntu. Ubuntu is that example of an unspoken and unwritten law in which we know what is right and what is wrong. We know what is right in Southern Africa. what you should not do, what you should not do in a given society, and what you should not do in another. You have to learn about those moral principles in any given society. But this, again, it relates to philosophy. Philosophy is a bedrock, upon which we derive the morality, the moral principles. And philosophy gives us the ideology on which we come up with these moral principles. They are not written, but we know them. We know them. And again, it goes back to the same idea that we had our own laws and moral codes that governed us before anyone came. We did have ideologies, even though they were not written, they were not stated explicitly, but we have them. We have them. And philosophy comes in to help to sort of bring them to the fore, or in a way, give them the foundation that they need in a society. I think I'll stop there. Thank you.
Yeah. Sister Ida?
Yes.
If I may interact there. So you notice that in sharing his thinking, Brother Coco is alluding something that is fundamental, even within human nature itself. And that out of that arises these unwritten, unspoken laws of conduct. But then you also notice that General Anunnaki also then earlier said that the way we conduct ourselves, how the moral rules are also written down. They are moral codes that are written down, that our ancestors wrote down. So there you have the two versions of the African position on morality, which is that our moral laws are in some cases written, and in some cases they are not written. And you will all be familiar with the secret societies of Africa, where you take an oath not to reveal anything, you don't write anything down, but you are taught things, and those things are taught to you in secret. You're not meant to share it with the general public. So if you take an example of what Brother Anunnaki was talking about, what today are called is called the Egyptian Book of the Dead, where you can see written moral principles upon moral principles, moral principles. And that in itself is a wealth of written moral codes. I don't know how many of us here have had a chance to look at that book, but that is a written code, the kind that Brother General Naki is referring to. And then within African societies themselves, I'm not talking about the lodges and so I'm talking about indigenous African groups like the Yorubas group. They have their own indigenous philosophical position that Professor Oluwole, you recall, wrote about, and so on. So again, remember that it's only recently that Yoruba philosophy was being written. Before that, they were memorized by the members of the if you like, that secret society or that group, you see. So what we've heard from Brother Coco and Brother General are the two positions of the African position, that some of the laws are written, some are not. Now, then the question is, and I don't think we've asked this question, maybe it's been asked, maybe I missed it. When we say that if you ask someone asks, well, why should I be moral? And then the answer is not forthcoming, like it is forthcoming with the law. What does that mean? You see, why can't the person answer it. If morality is rooted in the objective universe, and as far as I know, all of us here are children of the objective universe, yeah, then if there are laws in nature, then surely those laws must be expressed in us. But can we really sometimes consciously express those laws? Not always. We know it's right, but we can't explain why it is right. We just know, we just have a gut feeling that this is the right thing to do. And the time is 8:55, so I think I'll stop there because of time. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Brother Decking, I know that you said earlier that you had nothing to say. We've got less than about 5 minutes. Do you have anything quick you'd like to say? Let me just give you that opportunity before we close. Thank you.
No, I'm in a public space, so.
You're happy. Okay. Oh, Sister Tapua, I see that you have raised your hand. So I know you were saying you were having problems. So you've got maybe 3 minutes to say something, and we'll be happy to hear your thinking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I've written a comment in the chat there because whether laws or morality is written or not is neither here nor there, because morality is embedded in daily action. The fact that it's not written does not invalidate it. And also the converse, the fact that it's written does not make it exist. In other words, morality is within people and not on paper. Laws are meant to be, by necessity, they have to be written because they are not emanating from the day-to-day actions of people. They seek to direct the day-to-day actions of people. Whereas morality emanates from action. And so when we say on the one hand, there's written laws and unwritten laws, we're talking about the same thing. Because even with the laws that we have today, we know there are laws and there's morality that guides us, but we hardly see it on paper. Each one of us here today, if we're going to talk about our awareness of the laws, we only know them in as far as we act them out or we are challenged in our action. That's when we're confronted by the laws. My next point is on the
Sister Tapua, I might ask
Yeah.
you to keep that next point because we have 3 minutes left, and
Can I
your
just say
statement.
one sentence? The dissonance that we have as Africans is that we have morality that's been imposed on us from outside versus the morality that we're trying to hold on to as Africans. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. But oh, I have to say that the fact that morality might be in people doesn't make them necessarily moral, because there are some people who are so immoral in their way of thinking that you struggle to think how did that happen, where did they get this from. But let's not go down that road, as we have come to an end of our reading. Anybody who wishes to challenge that next week, feel free. But there are people who just don't seem to have to be moral, and there's nothing that's I don't know. Anyway, let's leave it there. Let's talk about what we're going to do on Saturday, which is we're going to have our part 2.
That's correct.
On Brother Kwame, what is it? It's
indigenous
sorry,
knowledge
indigenous knowledge. Yes, thank you. So the first bit was really interesting, and let's hope that the second bit will be even more in depth, and that we'll hear a lot more come out of it, rather than I think we were skirting on the side of what indigenous knowledge was the last time 2 weeks ago. So let me thank you all, and then I'll give Brother Kwame the chance to say whatever he'd like for the last minute. Thank you.
Yeah, Sister Ida, I think you've shared what we are doing on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what is happening to the Swahili class anymore, but Brother Pigeon is not here to clarify. I don't know if Sister Tapua, are you still reading the book, the dictatorship book? Is that still coming on, Sister Tapua? I know you
Yes,
read
on a Monday.
Is it on the Mondays? Okay, so those of you who are interested, you might want to attend that, the reading class. The Swahili class are on Tuesdays. And Mother Sister Ida has explained that the Saturday unification meeting is coming on, and that is on indigenous knowledge systems. And then on Thursday next week, we shall continue our philosophical and ideological discussion. That is it from me. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Sister Ida, for sharing. This is the first time you've shared. Maybe you did it when I was away, but it's the first time.
Oh, a few times while you were away.
For this first time, I have seen you chair or heard you chair, and you did a fantastic job.
Even though you challenged what the chair was doing, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was contributing to what the chair was. I mean, considering that you always said you couldn't chair because it was philosophy, but look at you.
It's not the first time, Brother Kwame, but I thank you.
It's amazing. I mean, the confidence with you are chairing. I mean, if you look back 1.5 years ago, you were thinking, no, I can't do this. But look at you.
Oh, you made me do it before 1.5 years ago, so don't worry about it.
Transformed, yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you so much for sharing.
Okay.
And thank you all for sharing your thinking. Continue to share your thinking in the furtherance of the total liberation, unification, and development of Africa. Thank you, and good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
I'm ending the meeting now for everyone. Thanks.